Hi everyone, Kelly here, and today I want to talk about the books that I might read in July. I have a couple readathons I'm participating in, which I haven't done a readathon in a long time, so other than middle grade March, I think was the last one. And so I'm excited to be participating in a couple things. I have a read along I am doing, and then I'm probably going to be finishing up things I haven't finished this month. There's still a week, I think, a week, maybe a little less than a week in June. So I have some books that I might finish, but then I have some that'll probably carry over, but I probably won't discuss those now. They might show up if I finally get back to doing some currently reading. Maybe I'll talk about those. But for now, let's talk about the things that I'm kind of like reading with readathons and all that. So first is a read along that is happening with Krista from Books and Jams and Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand. They're doing a read along of, what is this? I don't even know what this series is called, but it starts with An Ember in the Ashes. So we read An Ember in the Ashes in June. The live shows this weekend, so if you are participating, it's coming soon. And then next month in July, we'll read the second book, A Torch Against the Night. So I'm excited to be continuing. I've been like horrible, I feel like lately, about continuing series. So I really want to do this read along so that I would actually read the books, because now I own all 4 of the books and I would like to actually continue and finish some series this year. So that's part of the plan. And if you haven't heard of this, this is a fantasy novel that it has very much like kind of ancient Rome kind of vibes. And the first book is like kind of a game, like a competition. So that's really interesting, and you know, rebellion going on, all that stuff. And so I really enjoyed the first book and excited for the next one. And then the first readathon I'm participating in is Ketchupathon, which is hosted by Krista from Books and Jams and Amy from Amy's Bookish Life. I'll link their announcement video down below. And their readathon is all about Book of the Month books and just catching up on your Book of the Month. I just started doing Book of the Month, I think in April. So I only have 3 books, and I'll have like another one coming sometime in July, at the beginning of July. So 4 potential books for that readathon. I think their readathon will only last the first 2 weeks of July, but I'll probably also just say I'm going to read them sometime in July. Because when I signed up for Book of the Month, I told myself that I was going to not have just a big stockpile, that I was actually going to read them. So I would like to read all 3 of the ones that I have so far. And I didn't look to see what prompts they fill. I'm sure they have tons of prompts, and since I only have 3 books, I'm sure I will fill in the prompts. It was all about movies, I think, was the theme for this year. Yeah. And I remember when I was watching their announcement video that I had found ways that these all filled in, but I don't remember. And I'm in that moment where I wasn't planning on filming tonight, but my kids are busy being quiet in the other room, which hardly ever happens. My husband is out at like a meeting, and so I'm like, I have time to film in a quiet house, and I don't have time to do a lot of prep. So sorry that I don't remember what prompts these fill. But the 3 I want to read are Silver Elite by Danny Francis, and this is a newer dystopian type of romantasy. And this one and the next one I'm going to tell you about are kind of I think I want to vlog myself experiencing romantasy for the first time, so this will be one of those. So I have a couple for that. The vlog probably won't come out until like August, because one of the books that I want to read for that vlog, or 2 of them, don't fit into the read-alongs I am doing or readathons I'm doing in July, so they probably won't get read till August. So that'll come later, but I do want to read this one. And I have not been reading reviews because I purposely don't want to be like swayed one way or the other. I just want to see if I experience this and enjoy it. And then another one that's a romantasy I want to try is Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli. I guess I did not look up how to say her name. And this one I have heard good things about. This is a young adult romantasy, so probably a little less, of that stuff going on. But I've heard good things about it, and it's kind of, I think it's like kind of like the main character's a witch, and then the guy is a witch hunter. And so there's like kind of stakes involved in their relationship. And it's only a duology, which I enjoy. A duology, where I can read 2 and be done. So this one is on the plan, and this would go in that romantasy vlog that'll come out later. And the third one is a thriller. The one I got last month was The Ghostwriter by Julie Clark. And it's a thriller where I believe that this woman is a writer, and that her family, yes, she's the only surviving, no, her dad was the only surviving sibling of his family after like a tragedy, and now this Olivia is a ghostwriter, and she's going to write about her father, I believe. I don't know. I didn't look a lot into it. I was just trying to pick the one that seemed the most interesting from Book of the Month last month, and this one, when I was like reading the blurb, sounded interesting, but I didn't go into too much detail since it's a thriller. So those are the three. I don't know what I'm picking for my July box yet, but hopefully I could throw it in and finish all four. If not, I at least want to finish these three, so I'm staying on top of my Book of the Month club books and not getting too far behind. And then the last chunk of books are all for Jane Austen July, which I'll link the announcement video or the people that run that readathon down below so you can look at their announcements. They also have lots of recommendations. I have participated in this readathon in the past, and this year I'm not doing all of the prompts. I think they have 6 prompts, 2 of which are like watching prompts, which I might do. Like I might watch a Jane Austen adaptation and then like kind of like a retelling adaptation, but I don't really know what I want to watch at this point and what's available on what streaming devices. And like I said, I didn't have time to prep. So I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to watch, but I did order some books in the library. The thing is, I also left those books in the car that my husband has. So I'm just going to show you pictures of most of the books. I only have one book that I'm going to read for Jane Austen July, and the rest are sitting in my car from the library that I picked up today. But I'm doing 3 prompts, but for one of the prompts, I have several books. So the first prompt is just to read a Jane Austen novel, one of the 6 main novels. The only Jane Austen book that I have not read yet is Mansfield Park. And I've had this on my Jane Austen July TBR, I think the last 2 years, and haven't gotten to it. And so this is the year. I need to read Mansfield Park. I feel bad that this is the only thing I have not read. So I definitely want to read Mansfield Park. They are also doing the group read. They always pick one of her works to do as a group read. And this year they're doing Emma. And what I want to do for that is that I have been like, every time I read one of Jane Austen's novels, I had bought then the annotated version because I thought the next time I read it, I want to read the annotated version. And I don't have it on me right now. I'll show you a picture of what it looks like. So the way they do that is they have the whole novel, but then they'll have like big footnotes and pictures and, you know, like stuff that tells you about the time period, about the culture and all that stuff, so that you can learn more about that time period and like what people were wearing at the time and all that stuff while you're reading it. So I want to read the annotated version of Emma along with their read along when they're reading Emma together. And then I'm skipping prompts 2 and 3. And I think that was like to read one of her other like shorter works that isn't a novel, but I just read all of those most recent. I think I read almost all of her shorter works like 2 years ago when I did Jane Austen July, and I'm just not ready to repeat any of those yet. And the third prompt was to read a nonfiction about Jane Austen, and right now I'm not in the mood to read a nonfiction, and I have been reading nonfiction that's like kind of about other topics, so I'm skipping that one, and I'm going straight to read a retelling of a Jane Austen book, and this is the one I have several options for. And since they're all at the library, I have my computer so I can remember what they are, and I kind of picked out a retelling for each of the books except for Mansfield Park, because since I haven't read it yet, I want to read it first before doing any retellings. And a couple of the books I have 2. So Northanger Abbey is one I have 2 of. I have a graphic novel. It's called North Ranger, a modern graphic novel retelling of Northanger Abbey. And this one I think is also a queer comic from what I can tell. Yeah, so it's a teen summer romance graphic novel set on a Texas ranch, where Cade finds himself falling for the ranch owner's mysterious and handsome son, only to find out he has a dangerous secret. So that should be a fast read since it's a graphic novel. And then the other Northanger Abbey one is called Ghosted. Who's that by? Well, I guess I didn't say who. North Ranger was by Ray Terciero, and Ghosted is by Amanda Quain. And this is actually gender swapped. So we have Hattie Tilney instead of Henry Tilney. And she does not believe in ghosts, but she's going to one of America's most haunted schools, and she is tasked with, I think, taking around the new kid in school. Yeah, being the ambassador to Kit, who is the new boy at school who is brought there on a ghost hunting scholarship. So Kit's all about the ghosts and Hattie is not. So I think that'll be fun. I really like Northanger Abbey. I know a lot of people don't enjoy Northanger Abbey as much as the other ones, but I love the little like gothic kind of humor stuff going on. So I'm very excited to read those two adaptations. And then I do have a Sense and Sensibility retelling. It's called Sex, Lies, and Sensibility by Nikki Payne. And this one's an adult novel. And this one, so our main character, Nora, has found out that her father has a secret second family. And so she's kind of like meeting her sister, I guess. I didn't read a lot into this, but I heard that this is like I've had several people recommend this book, say it was really good, say it's also like steamy, and like a contemporary romance, but that like is pretty true to like some of the elements of the story. So I'm looking forward to that one. And then I have an Emma retelling, and this is a young adult contemporary romance. This is called The Code for Love and Heartbreak. And this one is Emma is in high school and she's a coder, and she and her coding like partner, like coding co-president, are creating a matchmaking app, which seems like a fun way to contemporize Emma with the whole matchmaking app and all that. So I'm hoping that'll at least be cute and fun. And then I have a One Persuasion retelling. And this is For Darkness Shows the Stars. And this is a dystopian retelling of Persuasion. So we're like in a future where a genetic experiment has gone wrong, decimating humanity. And Elliot North has like, so 4 years ago, she refused to run away with her childhood sweetheart, who was the servant Kai, and she chose duty to her family's estate over love. And then like Persuasion, obviously in current time, she's gonna run back into Kai, but he's gonna be a captain. And so, but I thought the dystopian element might be kind of fun to do one of these as, because a lot of these are more like contemporary, but that one is a dystopian. So I think that would be fun. And then I had two Pride and Prejudice retellings. I have Pride by E.B. Zaboy, which I feel like everybody has read at some point for Jane Austen July, and I just have never gotten around to it. This is just a modern retelling of Pride and Prejudice in Brooklyn. And I've heard really great things about it, and I just have never gotten around to it. So hopefully I'll get around to that. Of course, I'm not gonna read all of these, so I feel bad saying that I wanna get around to all these, but I know I'm not gonna read like all like 7 of these retellings, but we'll see how many. I might get really into it just because, you know, it's just fun to participate in a readathon like this that so many people are doing. And I might just get really into reading some retellings. And the last one is Most Ardently by Gabe Cole Novoa. And this is a queer retelling of Pride and Prejudice. And our main character, Oliver Bennett, is trans. Yeah. So everybody else thinks Oliver is a girl named Elizabeth, but Oliver is obviously a trans man. And so Pride and Prejudice retelling. So I think that one will be interesting too. So those are all of the retellings that I am thinking of that are all just sitting in the back of my car, waiting for July. I mean, I won't leave them in my car till July, but didn't have them for this, sorry. And then the last prompt I'm gonna do is number 5 is to read a book by a contemporary of Jane Austen, so somebody that was alive at the same time as Jane Austen. And I finally plan on getting around to reading Frankenstein. I have been thinking about reading Frankenstein for a long time. Just it's like one of those classics that I had on my like to do some point in my life is to read Frankenstein. And I thought, why not now? It's always recommended every year at Jane Austen July as like one of, you know, when they talk about all the different like contemporaries of Jane Austen that you could read. Everybody always mentions Frankenstein. I've never read it. I obviously know a lot of the story, but I know that the book is a little more in depth, a little more critique and all that of society. So I am really interested to finally get around to Frankenstein. So that's a lot. It feels like a lot of books that I am planning for myself. So I probably won't get to all of these, but I've actually been reading quite a lot this summer. I've just like been enjoying just sitting and reading and trying not to like scroll on my phone. So hopefully I can get like maybe an audiobook for some of these, like maybe some of the like retellings I can get on audiobook, and then I can listen to them. I am going on vacation for like a good portion of July, so there's a possibility that that could lead to lots of reading, or it could be that we're just like so busy doing family stuff I don't have time to read. But who knows? Let me know if you're participating in any of these readathons or read along, or what you might be reading for July, and I will see you next time. Bye.